It's time for the weekly sports page with the dynamic David Coleman. Stay tuned for thrills, chills, and yes, spills. Oh yeah, and a whole lot of other great stuff. Call 855-525-5683. Tweet your questions at Dynamic Sports PA or Facebook. Drop a line on Dynamic Weekly Sports Show. Sit back, relax, and groove while Dynamic drops sports in your ear hole.
Nebraska wins the game on the final play of the contest. Oh, baby! How about that? Jacked up indeed.
Are you kidding me?
They're not gonna keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow!
Now here's Dynamic David Coleman.
Hey, good Saturday morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave, here every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. on HotNradio.com. We've had a sabbatical, but we are back and ready to go. Got a lot of stuff to talk to you about. Of course, I got to tell you who's going to win the Super Bowl and all that stuff, who's going to win the divisions. We're going to go through all of that today. Yeah, today on the Weekly Sports Magazine. You got me for 2 hours. So make sure you tell everybody that, say, man, he's back. So we got so much to talk about. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my product. Where do we start? Of course, I gotta say good morning to everyone. So we'll do that here in just a moment. So let me just give you an update on some of the things that we're gonna talk about today. Okay, we gotta talk about Tua. Okay. Look, I'm going to tell you my story again. I know maybe those of you who are new have never heard it, but I will tell you today that if I had a son, I would not allow him to play football. And I'm going to expound on that here a little bit more. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic, but it all ties into what we saw Thursday night with Tua, okay? Also, I will tell you today that if Deion Sanders loses today against Colorado State, he should be fired. Now, I know a lot of Deion sycophants out there probably hate my guts for saying this, but if he loses today to Colorado State, Deion Sanders should be fired. We're going to talk about that today, of course. We're going to give you some Week 2 observations on the NFL. We're going to give you some Week 3 observations on college football. It's kind of topsy-turvy. I'm still getting my sea legs on this thing because you know, the conference is on. It's like I picked a game out of the Pac-12 today, and there were only 2 games. So we're gonna talk a little bit about all of that stuff. We're gonna pick some games today as well. We got to do the dynamic power picks. Of course, we'll do those, and of course, I said we're gonna do the picks for the season. So that's what's on the agenda today. Okay. So before we get started, there are a couple of things I need to tell you about. All right, so let's go ahead and do that right now. All right, first of all, there is a dynamic sale going on for Coleman's dynamic products. And the only place that you can get the links for the sale is that you've got to either go to the Rib Rub page or my page on Facebook. Not trying to make it complicated. All you got to do is click on the links. There are 4 things that are being sold. All 4 of them are the dynamic gift boxes. You get 4 different choices. You get a combo box that has hot and spicy original and ScorchN in rub and rib nuts. Okay? You also get some rib dust, some rib juice, some fried dust, and of course, some pepper juice. Can you see that? Yeah. That's gonna be in there also. All right? I told you about that's the rib juice. So all of those things are in that. Now, the other combinations, you get all original. Now, I'll tell you that the only thing that has changes its flavors are the rubs and the rib nuts. The rib rub and the rib nuts, all right? So you get all original rib rub and all original rib nuts. You get all hot and spicy rib rub and all hot and spicy rib nuts. I will tell you, hot and spicy is the #1 seller. Don't know why. People love heat. But let's be honest, all of it is very good, including, and of course, if you have that deep sense of pain, you can buy the ScorchN. And believe it or not, it sells as well. Okay, so that's what you can get. All of those. Now, usually it's a $49.95 value. Okay, and I'm gonna throw you in a little secret too. I'm paying half of the shipping. Okay? I'm paying half of the shipping. I will tell you that box is 6 pounds. You do the math. But I want you to have the product. So go to my Facebook page, go to the Weekly Sports Magazine Facebook page, go to my personal Facebook page, or just call me and I'll send the link direct to you. All right? The only people that can get this are the people that are listening to the show. Now, you know, the holidays are around the corner. This is a great gift item for the man or the woman in your life, because I will tell you, women love these peanuts. They love my rib nuts. I'm sorry. But they do. All right? So you all need to check it out. Remember, go to the Facebook page, David Coleman, or go to Rib Rub Facebook page. It's not on the website. All right? We're having some issues with the website, so right now we're gonna bring this product direct to you. This is a direct sale for Coleman's Dynamic Products and all of those great products that you've been asking about. Okay? Get those orders in now, because you know the holidays are right around the corner. And by the way, for my DMV people, I got a special sale for you guys as it relates to pies, key lime pie and a sweet potato pecan pie. But we'll talk about that later. Okay? So that's my pitch early on. I wanted to tell you about that. And tell you what, let's go ahead and get the show started. Okay? Can we do that? I guess I need to set my timer as well. I got so excited about the show, I forgot to set it, but we'll do that right now. Okay? Now, tell you what we've got coming up, but before we can do that, I gotta speak to everybody. We hadn't talked in a long time, so I gotta holler at all the folks by, let's see. Last time I did the show, was I in the, yeah, I was already in the DMV. All right, so I've now got settled. I've got a new apartment. We will be moving my studio, I say we, it'll be me, to another area here in the next week or so. And now that we've gotten some boxes and stuff, all of that mess out of the way. So we'll be moving it, so we'll get a different look. I'm going to probably eventually get a logo to put on the wall, and it's gonna be snazzy. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna make a new Weekly Sports Magazine logo. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Okay. It's time to do that. So it's been around a long time. I made a new Black Focus Radio logo. Why didn't I? Yeah, it's time. All right. So that's it right on there. That's my left shoulder there. Anyway, so let's speak to everybody. Hey, what's up, DMV? Good to be here. You know, it's amazing how many people that are natives who ask me, do I like it? And when I tell them that I love it, they look at me like I'm crazy. Yeah, it's how, wherever you are is what you make it. So I love the DMV area. I'm loving meeting all of the new people, making new friends. So good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Hope you enjoy the show, okay? No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Also, let's holler at my boy Larry Ridley at CBS Sports in New York City. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Going down to let's stop in Philadelphia, okay? And holler at my good friend at Arcadia University, Dr. Doreen Lowry. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. All right, Dr. Ray Winbush right here in the Baltimore area. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Renee Lewis in York, Pennsylvania. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Yeah. Going down to Atlanta. Well, let's see. Let's go to North Carolina. Charlotte, North Carolina, and holler at my girl Jackie. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Stephanie in Atlanta. Good morning. Welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Ricky in Orlando, Florida. Peanuts and Michael down in Orlando, Florida. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Appreciate you joining the show. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. A lot of stuff to talk about. Y'all spread the word. Man, order one of those gift boxes. I would really appreciate it. Let's see, where else? We're going, what is it, 10? Highway 10 going to Nolans. Let's say Bon Ton Roulette. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazines, all my friends down there. Also headed to Little Rock, Arkansas, on the Chitlin Circuit, where I was born and bred. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Carl, Sam, Dwayne, Aaron, the Hudson Tribe, all y'all, what's up? Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Didn't forget about you, Michelle. And by the way, happy anniversary to Samuel and Michelle Hudson. Very, they just my hearts. I'm just saying. Right there in Little Rock, Arkansas. Welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Sierra Coleman in Chicago, Illinois. Hadn't forgotten about you. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Really appreciate you joining the show. Keep spreading the word. Keep making your moves. You gonna bet. Look, I've told everybody that both my children, you will hear from them. You will. Yes, you will. And no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Let's go back down to DFW area where all my friends from Little Rock, there's a lot of friends from Little Rock are there. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Kenneth Muntz, I heard you got sick, was in the hospital with COVID, brother. I know you in Houston. I hope you feel a lot better. And welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Just chill out and listen to the show while you're recuperating, man. You know what I'm saying? I noticed that you responded to my post when I told you we needed you for the car wash, Boy Scout. You know, y'all don't understand. That's an inside joke between me and Muntz. See, one thing you don't know about me is that I used to be a Boy Scout. Proud of the fact that I was a Boy Scout at Troop 450 in Little Rock, Arkansas, and we had one of the best troops in the state of Arkansas, and we were all black, and we were bad. I'm gonna tell you like it is. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mr. Towns. God rest your soul. Man, you just a bad brother. I'm just letting you know. Anyway, so where are we going? Oh, we're going to John Collins in Phoenix, Arizona. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Hansel Harris and Dr. Rosie Milligan in Los Angeles, California. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine. And Ingrid Cooper. Good morning and welcome to the Weekly Sports Magazine in San Francisco, California. Yeah. By the way, speaking of which, it's been a tough week for all of us. James Earl Jones passed away. Man, someone made a post about James Earl Jones and what was your favorite movie. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. And of course, we all lately, we know his voice from Mustafa in The Lion King, and of course Darth Vader in the Star Wars trilogy. And I've seen James Earl Jones in a lot of different movies, but I'm gonna tell you, the movie that affected me the most was The Great White Hope. If you have not seen James Earl Jones portraying Jack Johnson in The Great White Hope, oh my God, I think it came out in 1970. But it is a gem. Go check it out. Okay? Also, we lost our boy Frankie Beverly and Mays this week, man. You know, I tell people all the time that there was one group, two groups really. Obviously, you didn't get to see him that much, but whenever they were around, I went to see him, and that was Prince. Y'all know how I am about Prince. Of course, another one was Sade. You didn't get a chance to see Sade a lot, but I've had the pleasure of seeing her 3 times. Let's see, twice in Memphis and one in Nashville. And let's see, and the other group was Frankie Beverly and Mays. And I've seen Frankie Beverly and Mays in every type of venue there could possibly be. Picnic, concert, opening act, main act. I've probably seen Frankie Beverly and Mays, I'd say 20, 30 times. If I ask you right now what your favorite Frankie Beverly and Mays song is, you could pop it off right now. You're singing it right now. Mine is Why I'm Alone. Yeah, While I'm Alone. Of course, Happy feelings in the air. Now, don't get me singing, but no, Frank is going to be missed. But the great thing about being a musician, especially if you have the legacy that Frankie Beverly had, that you will always be here. It's kind of like when we lost Marvin. It's like when we lost Prince. And those of you who are Michael Jackson fans, whatever your favorite artist, Whitney Houston, that has passed on, you can always reminisce and remember those happy feelings that those artists brought us in their music. And that's the great thing about it. So I just want to take a moment to shout out to Frankie Beverly and Mays fans, man. That was tough. That was tough. We might even play a little Frankie Beverly and Mays during the show today. We might do that. I've been trying to avoid the copyright things, but come on, folks. We got to play a little Frankie Beverly. We're going to do that. Okay. So, before we go to the first break, I want to talk about my first subject. Okay? And let me start it off this because I'm gonna save the tour conversation to the next after the break because I got a little more time and I want to expound on that a little bit. But let me start off with this one. If Deion Sanders loses to Colorado State today, he should be fired. Now, a lot of my Deion sycophants just call me all kinds of words and names and everything else. I understand. I'm not mad at you because I know how y'all feel about Deion. And I got into a conversation with a good friend of mine on the Weekly Sports Magazine Facebook page. And his argument was because Deion Sanders is not a good coach. Okay? And his argument was that he was backing Deion because Deion was a black coach. Well, if you want to say that, that's fine. I'm not mad at you about that. My frustration with this Deion sycophancy is that you all act as though he's this great coach, which he's far from that. Okay? Now, y'all might say, well, you just hating on Deion. No, I'm not. Deion is about Deion. Deion is not about those players. And I've said over and over again, and I've been telling a lot of people this summer, that Deion will not be at Colorado in 2 years. I would probably argue, well, let me put it this way. I wouldn't be surprised if Deion is not there after this year. And you say, well, Dave, why do you say that? Well, let me tell you why I say that. Because Shadir Sanders and Travis Hunter will be declaring for the NFL draft. And this whole charade that the media and these football teams have allowed Deion to perform is nothing more than his means of trying to become an NFL coach, where he didn't want to go the traditional route as every other coach. He was Deion Sanders, so I'm going to do it my way, where he had no experience except coaching a Pee-wee football team. Jackson State bit the bait. Oh, we're going to get all these players, and Deion's going to put us back on the map. And, yeah, they won a SWAC championship, and everybody was talking about Jackson State, but you ain't heard nothing about Jackson State since, right? Because Deion left no foundation. Deion's whole modus operandi was to use Jackson State in order to get where he is today and ultimately get to the pros. No, don't get mad at me. I'm just letting y'all know. Okay? Deion is not a very good coach. Now, I can't hate his game if these colleges fell for the okie doke, because that's basically what they did. Deion is about Deion. He reminds me of a politician. Okay? Don't get mad at me. I'm just talking sports. You can insert any name in there you want. I'm just talking about Deion, okay? All right? But I can't hate his game because, look, y'all fell for it. You got people defending Deion. Love them some Deion. Okay? Cool. Now, my thing is this. Why is Deion there? Well, Deion should be there to do what? Win football games. How many football games has Deion won in the last 2 years? 5. Right now he's 0-2. 0-2 this year. He plays Colorado State today. And if they don't win, I would argue that the Deion experiment is a failure and he should be fired. Well, I'm not saying this. I'm not going to argue it's a failure. Yeah, it's a failure now. To make it a success, you got to win a championship, at least a conference championship. You got to at least try to get in the playoffs. This 12 teams now can get in the playoffs. Where you at, Deion? Because you ain't going to make it. And you said, well, the offensive line is terrible. Well, wait a minute. Who brought those players in? Hello? Oh, well, he got to build. Well, okay, I agree with that. But does he have the patience to build? I'm telling you, after this year, maybe next year, he's gone. What y'all gonna say then? If we ought to believe some of the rumors out here that Mike McCarthy for the Cowboys, if they don't make a run to the Super Bowl, he's gonna be out of there and in comes Deion. And I would say this to you people that are saying that, or people who want that, if you're a Cowboy fan, you'd be a damn fool. There's a reason why great players never end up being coaches. You find good players, mediocre players, but you don't find those great players being coaches. Now, we can get into the psychology of that all we want, but that's a fact, Jack. So Deion Sanders was a hell of a secondary back. He was a hell of a return man. Deion Sanders was a bad boy. Deion Sanders liked to work them chops too. I'm being honest, I don't really care for people who work them chops like that. But anyway, you can't take away from his athleticism. That's why he's got a gold jacket. He's a bad boy. But at the end of the day, can he coach? See, I can separate Deion the player, Deion the mouth, from Deion the coach, because there are 3 of them. They're like, Deion. I watched Deion playing growing up. I watched him. I watched him go to San Francisco and then to Dallas. I watched him shut down half of the field. Deion was a bad boy. I watched him return kicks and punts and strut to the end zone. I watched all that. I appreciate that. That boy was bad. Deion the mouth, don't care for it. That's just me. Nothing personal. Deion the coach, he's got work to do. So while you all are showering all this praise on him about his coaching prowess, show me, oh, that's right. What was it? Pee Wee football? Deion's job is to win football games at the University of Colorado. He certainly brought them money. And here's what people are saying. Well, at least he's brought them some recognition. Well, that's great. Man. Okay? Chicago White Sox got some recognition too, as they just broke the losing record and everything in baseball. Is that something that you want? Or do you want to be known for winning? When Deion's gone, they're not going to think about the Colorado football team. They're going to think, oh man, when Deion was there, man, it was a party. Really? What are you there to do is win football games. And then you got the controversy of Shadir Sanders leaving early. I'm telling you, man, this is a disaster. Some of you all don't see it. But see, I'm not a sycophant like a lot of you guys out there, okay? So don't get mad at me. I'm just simply saying is that when you hire a head football coach, his job is to win football games. Okay, let's quickly, before we go to break, let's talk about this more. John Calipari. John Calipari did a great job of getting a whole lot of black kids paid in the NBA. I would argue right now, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I would argue right now that there are more Kentucky players in the NBA than any other school. Okay? I'll bet you a bottle of pepper juice. Don't want to take that bet, huh? Okay. But John Calipari is now at Arkansas. And one of the arguments that they made this spring, at least I heard a lot of Kentucky faithful make, is the fact that, he brought in a lot of players. And we even knew, those who were in the sports world, as I looked at Kentucky, I wasn't really worried about Kentucky winning, going far in the NCAAs, because those guys were young, they were talented, but they weren't a team. It's hard to put together a team when you've got new players every year. I think Arkansas is going to run into that problem. They're getting a hell of a lot of recruits. But if you look at over the last few years, those teams that have went through the tournament and lasted into the Final Four, most of those teams have, they've got a couple of seniors, some juniors. Okay? So your job is to win football games. Just like they said, Calipari, your job is to win basketball games. That's great you're putting these kids in the NBA, but how many games are you winning? How many championships are you winning for Kentucky? Because we the Blue Bloods. Something to think about. So as we move forward here, today is a critical game for, in my opinion, Deion Sanders. And if I remember correctly, and I picked that game, and I think Colorado State is a 6.5 point dog. You need to beat the hell out of Colorado State. By the way, Colorado State upset you last year. So this ought to be a tasteful revenge. Revenge is a dish that is best served cold, and Colorado has got to do it today. And if they don't, if Deion didn't win no more than 3 games, he got to go, man. He's going to be gone anyway. Watch what I tell you. We got to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about the Tua Tagovailoa incident Thursday night. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave, right here on JohnNRadio.com.
Hi, I'm David W. Coleman, host of Black Focus Radio and the Weekly Sports Magazine. We here at JohnNRadio.com would like to thank you for all the love and support you've given us. Our goal is to keep you inspired and informed daily with quality programming from gospel music, news, talk, and sports. Log on to JohnNRadio.com for the program lineup, and while there, be sure to make a donation. Then download our app and carry us anywhere in the world. Please continue to spread the word about JohnNRadio.com. And if you are an entrepreneur or have an upcoming event or you'd like to start a show, let the professional writers and producers here at JohnNRadio.com help you get the word out. Call me at 615-554-0568 for more details. In the meantime, stay informed and inspired daily right here on JohnNRadio.com.
David W. Coleman here for Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub and Rib Nuts. Go to ribrub.com, that's RIBBRUBB.com right now, and stock up on the best dry marinades for baking, grilling, and smoking your favorite meats. 3 great flavors, hot and spicy, original, and ScorchN. Try them at your next cookout and you will shout, bake it, grill it, shake it, oh yeah! Only one place to get Coleman's Dynamic products, that's ribrub.com. Easy to order, and I'll ship direct to you or to friends and family anywhere in the United States. While on the site, be sure to check out other great items, especially the rib nuts. Who'd have thunk it? Peanuts sauteed in a barbecue marinade? That's just crazy good. Get them at ribrub.com right now, along with other great recipes. That's ribrub.com. If you don't like my rib rub or rib nuts, I'll give you money back. Do it today. That's Coleman's Dynamic Products at ribrub.com.
Listen.
Did you miss Dr. Ernest Gill from UT San Antonio?
When you're making $455 million off these student athletes, and all you can come up with is $5,000, John Calipari makes $8 million a year, and his players are going to get $5,000 a year. The majority of these teams were white men and white males and females. Would this be happening? And I would say no, because their families wouldn't let it happen. But we're letting our kids get pimped.
Join the Weekly Sports Magazine every Saturday, 8
Welcome back to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave on JohnNetRadio.com. 855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with me if you'd like to join the show. Don't forget, hit us up on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I'm getting ready to do I think I'm going to turn my Twitter back on. I'm thinking about it. We'll see how that goes here. I'll let you know about that. But make sure you hit us up, like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget about the sale. I'm going to post the sales on this update as well. It'll also be in the flash, so you can go out and take advantage of the sales of the Coleman's Dynamic Gift Boxes. I mean, I'm telling you, folks, you are going to love this. All right? Don't forget about that. So, okay. So this segment and next hour, we're going to talk NFL. We're going to talk some college football. I'm going to tell you who my Super Bowl picks are. I'm going to tell you who my division picks are. I'm going to tell you who all of that stuff. I'm going to tell you I'm going to pick some games. I'm going to give you an opportunity to win a Coleman's Dynamic Gift Box if you beat me this weekend. So I'll get that posted here sometime tonight as well. So that's what's up. So let's talk a little bit about Tua Tagovailoa. If you don't know, Tua Tagovailoa is the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Thursday night, Tua was injured again. The interesting thing when I say again is that it's not a different injury. It's the same injury. He got a concussion. Okay? And you could tell he was concussed because he did, if you saw, and by now, I hope you've seen this video. By now, you've seen him what they call fencing. Now, I'm not trying to scare you, but as I labeled this segment, and as I said in the tease, if I were you, I wouldn't let my child play football. Now, I know what you're saying. By the way, did you know last weekend there was a young high school kid that was killed playing football? Didn't know that, did you? Now, I know what you're saying. If you knew me growing up, if you know me, then you knew my passion for football. High school, played a little college, not no big deal thing, but loved the game. I'm suffering. Even as I do this show right now, I'm in pain. 8 titanium screws. 2 misplaced vertebrae that need to be fixed, L5 through 8, and then 8 titanium screws in C3 through 7. All of that is from playing football. And I sit here simply by the grace of the ancestors because I probably should have been paralyzed, or I probably should be dead by now. But I'm still here, and I'm in pain as I sit here and talk to you. What you can't see, I'm sitting on a chair that has a heating pad. Yes, I am. Thank goodness for heating pads and modern technology. I don't know how many times I was concussed. Back then they called it getting your bell rung. How many fingers you got up? 12? Okay, you good, get back in there. You think I'm exaggerating. No, that's how it used to be. So what we saw Thursday night scared a lot of people. Now, you're probably saying, Dave, you love the game. Yes, I do. But here's what I know. Football is a violent sport. And we're going to get back to Tua here in just a moment. CTE is real. See, the one thing that they don't tell you, it's like getting in, every time you run into someone, it's like getting into a mini car wreck. I didn't realize how weird it was until I actually had an accident in my truck years ago. I'm driving down Knight Arnold in Memphis, coming home from school. Lady pulls out in front of me, just out of the blue. There was no time for me to stop. I T-boned her. She spun around, and I remember, and this is when I really started wearing seatbelts. I had a family, by the way, and I always wore seatbelts, but you were still kind of want to wear seatbelts, but I always wore them because I had a family. And so I T-boned her. I remember seeing her car spin, and I wasn't going that fast. I was going the speed limit. But it was just how my momentum hit her. And then I remember my head going towards the steering wheel and being yanked backwards by the seatbelt. And I was milliseconds away from the steering wheel. And all of the stuff was in slow motion. The weird thing about it, next thing I knew, the girl was knocking on the window, the lady I had hit. And she was saying, "Are you all right? Are you all right?" So apparently I must have blacked out or something during that time period. So they ended up taking me to the hospital. And sure enough, I was concussed. So during that period that I had, and apparently I had been out for a moment, because although I remember hitting her and T-boning her and her spinning, the next thing, of course, like I said, I remember the slow motion towards the steering wheel and being jerked backwards. After that, I don't remember anything until she's knocking on my window asking, am I okay? So what happened? I was concussed. Not to give you a biology lesson or a medical lesson, but basically what a concussion is when your brain slams into the back of your skull or the front of your skull. What usually happens, how that occurs, is that your body is abruptly stopped. There's something called momentum. Mass in momentum still moves. And it can be stopped. But if it's fluid, I was watching something the other day. I watch these weird things. Did you know that that's what a ballast is all about in a ship? Is that they have to make sure water is in there so it's equal. The same thing with the truck that delivers gas. That's not just one big long truck. They have platforms in the middle of them, so the liquid won't make you sway one way or the other. Now, I know that sounds crazy to you, but see, your brain is encased in your skull, but it also is surrounded by fluid. It kind of floats there, believe it or not. So when you stop all of a sudden because of the fluid, your brain keeps moving. Although it may be a millisecond, sometimes it moves to the point where it will crash into your skull. And that's what causes you to get a concussion. Anybody can get them. So think about that. Every time you play football, in practice, or even a game, you have a many car accidents. And at some point, I'll never forget when every year doing tour days, those first couple of days of practice, every football player will tell you, what do they have? Every one of them get them. This is one thing you all don't know. The first 2 or 3 days of practice, guess what you have? A headache. Go ask someone who plays football? Go up to him and say, hey, I got a trivia question for you about football. And ask him, the first 2 or 3 days of practice, when you go back to practice, what is one thing that you all have, every player has? They'll probably say, well, uniform, cleats, playbook. No, every one of them has a headache. And you know why? Because you're banging your head against somebody else's head. Don't care what you say. I know the NFL says, oh, well, don't use your head. You still see them using it. And then, too, you don't have to use your head. It's when your body stops. At some point, your head is going to stop. Your brain is going to keep going. And it's going to crash into the back of your skull. And you're going to be concussed. That's what a concussion is. That's why you saw this big thing about CTE, and the NFL is concerned. That didn't look good last night when Tua was on the ground doing what they call fencing in neurobiology. In neurology, I should say. That means your head has hit the ground, and see, I know what he was feeling because I felt that. And you're there, and I can only describe what it was like for me. I saw lights. They were just like, if nothing else, they were fluorescent lights lined up in a row, millions of them, and I was just zzz. I was fencing. Woke up, coach was standing over me. Coleman, you okay? You okay? That's what Tua was doing last night. Now, fortunately, look, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm 63 years old. I don't know if I might end up with CTE or not. Right now, my memory is okay. I do my show based on a lot of memory, so yeah, it's nothing to laugh about. But the point I'm trying to make to you is that I'm sitting here as a living witness of someone who loved the game of football but is suffering in the aftermath. And if you know any of your friends or relatives or your sons who have played this game who are now older, ask them about their injuries. I'll never forget when I went back to a high school reunion. It's probably been about 20 years now. Many of the ex-football players that played in high school and college, you know, one of the main subjects was our war wounds. We wore them as a badge of honor, but the fact of the matter is, somebody had a knee, somebody had an ankle, somebody had 2 surgeries. It just went over and over again. It's not great. And this is why I have argued for years. This is one of the reasons players should be paid. And I'm hoping that these players now who are getting NIL are getting financial advisors, because you need to be setting up some trust for later on in your life when your health is going to be bad, not just because of your genealogy, not because of your DNA, it came from mom and dad. It's going to be because of those injuries and those multiple surgeries that you've had on your knee, ankle, shoulder, whatever the case may be, just to play this game called football. The difference is now you're getting paid. I didn't get paid. I'm not mad at you. I've been advocating you getting paid for the longest, and it's long overdue. All I'm saying is now put some of that money aside. That's all I'm saying. Now, let's talk about Tua. Now, there have been a lot of things said. I listened to a lot of shows on Friday. In fact, it got to the point where I got so sick of hearing about Tua, I just had to turn it off, because all of them were, it's almost, you know, I'm going to say it like this. There's a national affiliate that, you know, the sports network, they're so programmed now, it's pathetic. Every show, and I listen to them a lot during the day. I have the opportunity to do that. Every show, you know, are going to talk about the same thing that the show did previously. It starts off with the morning show, then there's another show. It just goes all day long. They talk about the same thing and make the same points. It's almost like they've given a card, a production card, and these are the things you talk about. And I hear them talk about they're going to meetings, but there's no originality. I guess that's what I'm saying. So all I was saying, making the argument, oh, well, Tua should retire. Tua should do this, Tua should do that. The problem with Tua retiring, if he says that he's going to retire, that guaranteed money is not going to be his. He's just signed, what, $142 million contract? I think that's how much. A $65 million signing bonus, somewhere in there. Now, if the team decides that, hey, you're a liability, then he could get that money. And everybody talking about being paid, setting up his family for life. Yo, if I'm Tua, if I can't be nothing but a backup, I'm not giving up my contract until I get my money. Okay? He said I think McDaniels, as coach, made the point to him that you're the starting quarterback for your family. And he makes an excellent point there. Tua's got to make a decision, because the sad thing about it, this young man has had a concussion 4 out of the last 5 years that dates back to him being in college. So there seems to be a propensity for him to get concussions. Some people are just like that. It's kind of like people who smoke and don't smoke. Some people don't smoke and they'll get cancer. People who smoke all their life never got cancer. That's true. Everybody is different. Every injury is different. Everybody has a different pain tolerance. You heard me talk about me sitting here with my back. People say, man, do you take medication? No, I don't take medication. Can't handle that stuff. Don't want to handle it. So, Tua, 4 concussions. And if you think back, and the irony is that when he was concussed Thursday, he ran into DeMar Hamlin, who was the young man a couple of years ago who almost died on the field because he got hit the wrong way in the chest and went to cardiac arrest. In fact, he did die. They brought him back. I made the same argument then that I'm making now, is that you shouldn't be letting your kids play football. I said earlier that there was a young man in high school who died just last weekend. I remember growing up, Chucky Mullins, who played for the University of Mississippi, broke his neck and was paralyzed. Never forget it. The irony is that, guess what? I broke my neck in college. We don't even talk about the numerous injuries that go on a regular basis that we never hear about in these small colleges. These high schools all across the country. This is a dangerous sport, which should not be allowed. But look, it's in America's fabric. What will we do without football? Look, speaking of football, I'm going to the Raiders and the Ravens Sunday. We'll talk about that a little later on. I'm going to that Sunday. So what will we do? What would Tua do? Here's a young man who wanted to play football all his life. And you would think, man, if I had the millions that he's going to have, I could do this, I could do that. Here's the one thing about football. Is that once you start playing it, bro, it's in your blood. I'm 63 years old. So let me think here. It's been 40 years. About 41 years since I played my last football game. And here's the weird thing about it. That every August, at a certain part of the day, if I go past some fresh cut grass, I immediately think back to Tua days. Ask any football player. particularly in the South. It's hard to walk, mentally it's hard to walk away. When I was injured, I didn't want to quit, but I knew I had to because I was going to die. I was going to be paralyzed. So the question is for Tua, and no one can really make that decision for him. You can certainly give him suggestions, but he has to make it for himself. I think in his particular case right now, there are millions on the table. If he decided he's going to hang it up, potentially he could lose all those millions because that contract will not be honored, according to what I've heard today. Now, the only team that has ever done right by a player was the Indianapolis Colts, and they did that with Andrew Luck. Not saying that the Dolphins would do that with Tua. And they don't have to. That's part of the contract. So if you're Tua right now, as you go through this evaluation stage, that's on your mind. On the other side of that, what about the NFL? Can the NFL automatically come in and tell a guy, hey, you can't play because we're concerned about injuries? And if the NFL does that, then maybe Tua can say, okay, fine, pay me my money. It's an interesting thing to watch. Don't know how it's going to turn out. Really don't. We'll keep you posted on that. That's interesting. Hey, we got to take a quick break. We'll be back here in a moment. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave on JohnNetRadio.com.
Ladies, are you looking for high quality natural products for your skin and soul? Skintentional is for you. We feature handcrafted, luxurious natural baths and body care products. At Skintentional, we firmly believe that self-care should be an intentional and enjoyable experience. We strive to infuse every product with a sense of fun and purpose. Crafting each item with love and care, we take pride in selecting only the finest natural ingredients. From luscious shea butter to revitalizing essential oils, every element is carefully chosen to protect, restore, and enhance your skin's natural beauty. We provide skincare specifically with you in mind. Try our soaps, scrubs, and facial oils for children and adults. Skintentional has something for the whole family, including the man in your life. Self-care should be an intentional and joyous experience for all. Go to skintentional.com right now for great discounts and begin experiencing what skincare products should be.
Bake it, grill it, smoke it. Oh yeah, at RealRub.com. Coleman's Dynamic Pepper Juice is lighting fires around the country. It's the new product from RealRub.com. Use it on meats and vegetables. Add it to your gumbos and greens for an extra punch. Made with all natural ingredients, Coleman's Dynamic Pepper Juice will enhance the flavors of your favorite recipes. Order today on RealRub.com. And while there, be sure to check out some of our other great products. It's developed with love and care using the best all-natural ingredients with no GMOs or preservatives. From snacks to seasonings, Coleman's Dynamic Products has something for everyone. Bake it, grill it, smoke it. Oh yeah, at RealRub.com.
LeBron James is the greatest player we've seen this generation. You have to be careful when you start saying, and so he wasn't as good as Michael, or he wasn't as good as Magic. Every generation you get that. You begin to sound like that old man that lives down the street, and every time you walk on his yard, or you even walk by his yard, he's on the porch and he's got that little crooked finger. He's like, "Get off my lawn! Get off my lawn!" Join me Saturday mornings at 8 for the Weekly Sports Magazine on JohnNetRadio.com. Get off my lawn!
All right, welcome back to the show. The Weekly Sports Magazine. I was about to say Black Focus Radio on JohnNetRadio.com. We're here every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. on JohnNetRadio.com. Look, I'm going to tell you like this. I plan to do a show every Saturday, so y'all check it out. Make sure you don't forget about the specials that's going on. There's one thing I do want to talk about just quickly before we go to the break. Next hour, we're going to talk college football. We're going to talk NFL. I'm going to give you some picks, okay? But just quickly, if you didn't know last weekend, maybe you were under a rock or something, but for the first time in NFL history, there were 15 black quarterbacks who started in the NFL. 15. Wasn't that great? You said, well, what's the big deal? Well, if you were like me, when I grew up, there was no such thing as a black quarterback. The first black quarterback that I ever saw was a guy named Roosevelt Grant. He played for Little Rock Central. Roosevelt Grant. Y'all remember Rosie? Those of you in Little Rock. I was a sophomore. He was a senior. Coach didn't want him to play because he had one of them nut boys, Dickie Nutt. Dickie was not a very good high school quarterback. He wasn't like his brother Houston, who was older than him. Then you had Danny and Dennis, but all of them were my friends, but I'm just being honest with you. So the interesting thing was it was Roosevelt Grant. That was my first look at a black quarterback, up close and personal. Then, of course, we had Jefferson Street Joe Gilliam. Y'all remember him? I never knew Marlon Briscoe, but Marlon Briscoe was a quarterback as well. Before I realized, I was young then, I got to meet him later on in life at a black quarterback convention in Nashville. So Marlon Briscoe was there. But then there was this guy by the name of Condre Charleway. Was it 78, Tennessee, number 7? He inspired me to want to go to Tennessee because he was a black quarterback. The only other schools had black quarterbacks, but not like Condre. You know, Oklahoma had a black quarterback, but they ran the wishbone. Condre Charleway was a black quarterback where he would sit back there and throw the ball. Then, of course, we had Doug Williams. He was drafted to Tampa Bay. Ultimately went on to win the Super Bowl and kicked the door down for black quarterbacks. Randall Cunningham was in that group. Don't forget about Jamie Harris, who was a quarterback for the Rams. I believe he took them to the Super Bowl, I believe, if I remember correctly. I'm just going in my head black quarterbacks that I knew, that I was aware of growing up. Let's see, who else? Of course, there was Slash, Cordell Stewart. So, of course, Michael Vick. I'm just kind of going through my head now. I'm sure how could I forget? One of my heroes, Warren Moon. Warren Moon, who won a national championship at the University of Washington. When he came out, they wanted him to play safety, and he refused. So he went to Canada and played for Canada for 5 years and won 5 consecutive Grey Cups. Now, if you don't know what Grey Cups is and you're not familiar with Canadian football, that is the equivalent of the Super Bowl in Canada. He comes back and goes to the Oilers and sets all kinds of records then. Warren Moon, how could I forget? Huge fan of Warren Moon. Had a pleasure of meeting him. Played for the Houston Oilers. Then, of course, there's Steve McNair. My friend. Saw the documentary. I have some questions, but I won't get into that. So, I'm saying all that to say this, is that what we saw last Sunday is a culmination of a lot of hard work from black kids, black men who were told that you're not good enough. There were 3 positions, you may not know, but growing up there were 3 positions that they did not like black people to play. Quarterback was 1, center was 2, and free safety was 3. Now there was one more that was middle linebacker. They didn't like any position that required you to call signals or call plays or call adjustments. They didn't want black people playing those positions. So quarterback, we know he calls the plays audibles. Guy wasn't smart enough. Center. The center calls the blocking schemes for the lineman. Black guy wasn't smart enough. Middle linebacker. You call the defenses. Wasn't smart enough. Free safety. I was always a white guy. He called the coverages. My, how that's changed. But it's changed even more so for the fact that there were, again, 15 starters last Sunday. That's great. Are we making progress? I don't know. Because also last Sunday, and we certainly got to talk about this, there was an incident, and the irony is that it made the NFL have egg on their face. Because the incident that occurred at Tyreek Hill, and I saw, if you haven't seen it, I'm sure it's all over the internet, but the incident that occurred with Tyreek Hill is fascinating. Because in the interview, Tyreek Hill was apologizing. He was apologizing. Why did he have to apologize? That's the question. And I tell you what, when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the Tyreek Hill incident. That was last Sunday after last week's show. So I definitely want to talk about that. Then we're going to do some picks. We're going to talk some college football. We've already talked a little bit about Deion. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Razorbacks. Okay, we'll see. All of that. You still can't play defense. Guess what? You had Bobby Petrino there before, and guess what was wrong with the Razorbacks? You can't play defense. If you don't play defense, you're not going to win any championships. We'll get into all of that here in just a little bit. So let's go ahead and take the top of the hour break. It's called the Weekly Sports Magazine. I am Dynamic Dave. JohnNetRadio.com.
It's time for the weekly sports page with the dynamic David Coleman. Stay tuned for thrills, chills, and yes, spills. Oh yeah, and a whole lot of other great stuff. Call 855-525-5683. Tweet your questions at Dynamic Sports PA or Facebook. Drop a line on Dynamic Weekly Sports Show. Sit back, relax, and groove while Dynamic drops sports in your ear hole.
Nebraska wins the game on the final play of the contest. Oh, baby! How about that? Jacked up indeed.
Are you kidding me?
They're not gonna keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow!
Now here's Dynamic David Coleman.
All right, welcome back to the second hour of the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave on JohnNetRadio.com. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube page, our IG page, all of that stuff as well. And I want to remind you about the sale that I have going on for Coleman's Dynamic Products. It's simple. It is a Coleman's Dynamic Gift Box. I'm going to give you an opportunity to win one later on in the show, but it has Hot and Spice Original and ScorchN rubs. It also has Hot and Spice and Original ScorchN rib nuts. It has fry dust. It has rib dust. It has rib juice. And it has pepper juice. It has all of my stuff. It is just a great gift coming up for the holidays. Make sure you go out to the page. All you got to do, look, I've made it simple for you. All you got to do is click what you want. You have 4 choices. You have the combo box. That's what I just described. You have the original box. Everything is original. You have hot and spicy. Everything's hot and spicy. And you have the ScorchN. Everything's hot, ScorchN. You can't beat that with a stick. So check that out, okay? We want to make this the best Christmas you've ever had. Start ordering now because I'm telling you, man, those things went fast last year. So don't get left out this year, okay? So got a lot of stuff to talk about this hour. As I said, we're going to make some picks. I got to tell you who I'm going to pick for divisions. I'm going to tell you who I want for the Super Bowl, all that stuff. We're going to make some power picks as well. That's where you're going to get an opportunity to beat me. And I'll post those online today, Saturday before, but it'll probably be before the game starts for sure. Okay? And let's see what else. I think that's it. But one other quick things I want to talk about is the Tyreek Hill incident. And the reason it's important is because what happened to Tyreek Hill last week is something that black people have been saying happens to us all the time. So those of you who don't know, Tyreek Hill was on the way to the game. Okay? He was on the way to the game. And right now, I haven't seen where he was doing anything illegal. That's yet to come out. I may have missed it. But apparently he was stopped by police in the area. And there were fans going to the game, and Tyreek Hill looked like he was driving a black, I know it was black, I don't know, it was a sports car, looked like a Lamborghini. So we know by the footage that the cop walks up to Tyreek, to the car, and tells Tyreek Hill to roll his window down. Okay? Tyreek Hill cracks it, rolls it down, then rolls it back up. You could hear the cop saying, if you don't roll your window down, we're going to snatch you out the car. That's exactly what they did. They put the guy on the ground, put their knee in his back. Apparently some of the other players who were on the way to the game as well, Calais Campbell was one of them, who walked up to try to find out what was going on, tell them who he is, and they were pushed back as well. They were filming. Of course, the cop said, hey, you can't film. Okay, so by now, we should know that that's a damn lie. Those of you who don't know this, let me say this right off the bat. Is yes, you can film the police. They can't stop you. That's your First Amendment right. There's no gray area there. Okay? They may not like it. And they can't. And look, long as you give them 10 feet, that's the standard. Unless they have tape where you can't get inside that tape. Otherwise, you can film them. I'm trying to give you some context here because I've followed these types of things for a long time. The other thing is this. You don't have to roll your window down. And what annoyed me, I saw some posts online, and of course, it's a white guy. I hate to say this, my white brothers, but you know how some of y'all are. He should have just complied. They never say that when it's a white driver. But see, what was he complying to? As you can hear Tyreek Hill saying, just give me my ticket so I can go. So apparently he had presented his driver's license. They knew who he was. You can't be working those games and living in Miami and not know who Tyreek Hill is. You just can't know. But that cop was on a power trip. And they wrestled him out. Of course, they ultimately let him go. Tyreek makes fun of it. And then, of course, you know, in the comments that I've heard from him, of course, he was contrite. He was trying to figure out, well, maybe I should have did this. But he did make an excellent point. And I'm going to tell you why I'm talking about this. He said, what would have happened if I wasn't Tyreek Hill? Well, I'll tell you what would have happened. Philando Castile would have happened. And all the others that have ended up dead because of cops trying to be super people. Now, here's why I'm talking about this. You see, Colin Kaepernick was drummed out of the league because of crap like this. Hello? So what did the NFL do? The NFL decided, oh, we're going to go hire Jay-Z. In other words, they put PR on a problem that they are continuing to ignore. Right now, I don't think the NFL have even made a statement as it relates to this Tyreek Hill thing. I'm going to look in the break, but I don't think there's been a statement. As a matter of fact, let's do it together. Let's see. Let me just do this. Excuse me, this is live programming. NFL statement on Tyreek Hill. I'm just looking. You know, I don't show an NFL statement on Tyreek Hill. Okay? The NFL has got to make a statement. You see, I'm going to make an argument with you. I'm pretty sure they're pretty thrilled. Now, I know this sounds sick. They're thrilled that that Tua got injured because that took over the headlines. because the Tyreek Hill thing was dominating the headlines all this past week up until Tua. That's the one thing that we're not talking about. And the NFL drummed Colin Kaepernick out of the league because of his stance on police brutality. And here it is, front and center, that one of your top players, a Pro Bowler, got the same treatment as what us regular folks have been saying for years. Now, I know y'all love the NFL, but when are they going to make a statement on this Tyreek Hill thing? In fact, I'm going to reach out to a couple of people and try to find a statement. And of course, they later claimed that they apologized to Colin Kaepernick. But the dirt was already done. You had already ruined his career. By the way, you need to find out how many of well, let's put it this way. You need to find out who your NFL owners are contributing to politically. William Roden talked about the $40 million slave. Anyway, okay. So, just wanted to bring that up. Didn't get a chance to talk about that. So, here's what we're going to do. Let's see. We got a few minutes to go. So, let's do this first. Let's do college football. And let me give you some observations from last week. Okay? And I'm going to give you the top 25. You know, this whole thing has changed about college football now. It's really about, it's really about who can recruit. And I'm not talking about going to mama's house or daddy's house. I'm talking about who can throw the dollars. This is semi-pro football. And you know what? I'm not mad about it. I'm not. It's still football to me, even with its misgivings. It's still football to me, okay? So, I'm not mad. Why should you be? Okay? All right, so here's the top 25. Here's the AP. Georgia, Texas, Ohio State, Alabama, and Ole Miss. So check this out. 4 out of the top 5 teams are SEC schools. Okay? No, wait a minute. I'm not done. All right. Missouri is number 6. Tennessee's number 7. So 6 out of the top 7 are SEC schools. Okay? Then you got Penn State 8, Oregon 9, Miami 10. I'm going to tell you, you better look out for Miami. Miami is, I think, a dangerous team. I said it here. USC 11, Utah, Oklahoma State, who should have lost to Arkansas. Arkansas is just terrible. Kansas State, Oklahoma, LSU. LSU has a big game today against South Carolina. I'm picking that game. Notre Dame, who everyone said, Notre Dame, now that they've won against Texas A&M, they went into hostile territory and they beat Texas A&M, and they're going to the champion. No, they're not. They lost last week. I love it because I hate Notre Dame. And it's not about hating the kids. I hate this elitism that Notre Dame tries to portray in college football. And they're not the Notre Dame that they used to be 50, 60 years ago. They're just not. And they always get the benefit of the doubt. And it's not fair to other schools. That's all I'm saying. Look, join a conference. It's time. Because you're not going to the playoffs. Forget it. All right? So Notre Dame's number 18. Michigan's number 17. Notre Dame 18. Louisville 19. Arizona 20. Iowa State 21. Clemson won last week. Nebraska 23. Boston College and Northern Illinois. So that's the top 25. Am I overly concerned about that top 25? Just dealing in the top 10, I don't have an issue with any of that right now. I just really don't. Are these teams as good as... here's the thing. I believe that you shouldn't put out these rankings until at least the first 2 weeks after the season starts. All right? Because Notre Dame is a classic example of everybody thinking that, because I think Notre Dame was in the top 10 at one point. Early on. They're not any longer. Okay? So, 2 weeks is kind of like now with football, pro football. You can't get overly excited about week 1. Give it about a month, particularly in the NFL. Then you start seeing the cream separate from the shaft. What is it? Well, the cream starts rising to the top. What is the shaft separate from the corn? I don't know. Y'all help a brother out. Okay? So, but that's the top 25. All right? That's the top 25. Now, I'm going to give you some picks here in just a moment. But before I do that, let me just talk a little bit about the Arkansas Razorbacks. And this is any team that has bought into this mantra of outscore. And then look, what do they say? Touchdown puts butts in the seats, but defense wins championships. That's what they say. And let me take that back. It's not what they say. That's a proven fact. I heard a stat, and it said, over the last 20 years, the team that won the national title, is this correct? 13 out of the 20 had top 5 defenses. Wow. It's something like that. My point is, defense wins championships. It's not a joke. It's not something that we can just skate over and pretend like it doesn't happen. It's real. Okay? It's real. And we got to start paying attention to that. So I say all this to say this. Bobby Petrino, who is now the offensive coordinator at the Arkansas Razorbacks. And hey, look, back when Petrino was coaching, Arkansas was putting up some points. They were exciting. But you know what? They couldn't stop nobody. That was their Achilles heel. They would outscore you. But they couldn't stop anyone. It was like running through tissue paper with them. The same thing happened last week with Oklahoma State. I watched a lot of that game. They couldn't stop anyone. It was horrible. And they ended up losing this game because they couldn't play defense. So you Razorback fans who got all excited, well, Bobby's back, he can throw, they gonna score. Well, look, let me go back and just tell you, read the top 10 to you. Okay? And what I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna pull up your schedule. All right. Here's Georgia's number 1, SEC. Texas is number 2, SEC. I know Texas is on your schedule. Alabama is number 4. Ole Miss is number 5. Missouri is number 6. So that's 4 out of the top 10 who's on your schedule. Then you got Tennessee, number 7. So let me just do this, Razorback fans, because y'all get on my damn nerves. Bobby Petrino is not the answer, and I said that last year, and I'm going to say it again this year. And you get mad all you want. I don't care. Oh, he going to score. Oh, okay, yeah. Big whoop. Let's just look at your schedule. You've already lost to Oklahoma State, who is in the top 25, right? Okay? You agree with that? So this week, the Razorbacks, let's see, they play, it's not Alcorn. Oh, UAB, that's who they play. So, that's not what I'm looking for. Come on, let's go. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be covering my face, so. All right, so, let's see who the Razorbacks get. I should have already had this up. And we're going to do some picks for college here in just a moment. We got time. I don't know why oh, here we go. I don't know why my darn, let's do it that way. So what I'm doing here is I want to look up the Arkansas Razorback schedule, because here's the deal. Razorback fans don't get it. They just don't. And I think there are going to be some problems. And just like it's some problems while my darn iPad is not cooperating. So, I just got to, by the way, while I'm doing this, I just got an offer from T-Mobile, my phone carrier, to trade in my Galaxy for a new iPhone. Can't do it. I'm a Galaxy person, okay? I've got Apple, I've got a MacBook, I got an iPad, but I just love my Galaxy. Okay? So I gotta call them and say, hey, do y'all have one for a Galaxy phone? And I might go take them up on the offer, because my phone is getting old. It is. Okay. All right. So I want to look at the Razorback schedule. Let's see here. And then we're going to make some picks here. All right. So they got UAB today, Auburn, Texas A&M. So they've got Tennessee. LSU is in the top 25. Mississippi, Texas, and Missouri. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4. They've got 4 out of the top 10 on their schedule right now. Okay? And then you throw in LSU, who could potentially move up the ladder today if they beat South Carolina. Now, South Carolina's 2-0. That ought to be an interesting game. I think South Carolina believing that they got something going on down there. So right now, Arkansas is 1-1. They beat UAPB, big whoop. They play UAB today. They are favored in that game. Auburn, you don't know. So let's see. They'll be let's give them 2-1. They go to Auburn. They're going to be 2-2. They don't play well on the road. They go to A&M. Are they still playing that game? I think this is the last year of the game in Dallas. Maybe the last year was the last year. But they play A&M. So that'll be, let's see, 1-2, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 2-3, 3-2-4, 2-5, 3-5, 3-6, 3-7, 4-7, 4-8. They'll win 4 games. They should beat Louisiana Tech. They should beat Auburn. They beat UAPB. They beat UAB. They should beat them. Now, the game, this is going to be tough. They may not win 3 games. Anyway. So let's pick some games. Now this is for college. We'll pick pros here in just a moment when we come back from the break. This is for college. South Carolina, they are playing against LSU. Okay? That ought to be an interesting game. The game is at South Carolina. LSU is 1-1, and I'm going to be totally honest, they didn't look that good to me last week. South Carolina is 2-0. They feeling themselves. The Gamecocks are crowing right now. And you know what? I'm crowing with them. I'm taking South Carolina. It's already dropped. 5.5. Okay? 5.5. Now, let me just warn you about these picks. I'm going to post these picks. And if you beat me, I'm going to send you a Coleman's Dynamic Gift Box free of charge. Okay? So, all right. So, the other game I'm picking, Alabama at Wisconsin. Alabama struggled last week. You can say, well, that team always struggles with when they play Alabama. Yeah, but I don't know what. This is a new coach. This is not Nick Saban. They're going on the road to Wisconsin. I'm smelling upset, but I'll tell you, Wisconsin is a 16.5-point dog at home. I'm taking Wisconsin right now, plus the 16.5. Now remember, I bet against the spread. By the way, last week in the NFL, I was 1-5. I ain't upset. I'm getting back on that horse and riding this week. In college, I was 4-2. So for the year right now, I'm 6-7. All right, just letting you know, I'm for real. We're gonna keep this happening. I ain't in too bad a shape. All right, Mississippi. They are playing against Wake Forest. Mississippi is a 21-point favorite. I'm taking all that. I ain't buying Wake Forest. They're the ACC, and Lane Kiffin is on a mission. I don't recall Mississippi getting this much hype ever. And they got a good offensive squad. Justin Dart, it's a bad boy. I'll take it for the Raiders. I don't care, man. You know, I'm just saying. But no, I'm not telling the Raiders to tank. At least not until after Sunday. If you win Sunday, which it's going to be tough, I don't know. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. But Mississippi, 21 points. They're at Wake Forest. I don't care. They're going to light Wake up. I'm taking those 21 points. Colorado State, Colorado. Remember I said earlier in the show that if Deion doesn't win on Sunday, today, he should be fired. Colorado State last year put a crimp in their chain. And it was downhill from there. So sad. Colorado State is a 7.5-point dog. I'm taking Colorado State. Look, right now, y'all can say I'm hating all you want. I have no confidence in Deion Sanders. I just don't. I have no confidence in him. Don't get mad at me. I'm just being real with you. Okay? So, I'm going to take Colorado State. Let me go change up my thing here because this thing is dragging. I don't know what's going on. So let's do this. Let's turn it off for the time being. And now let's go back and let's do this, baby. All right? Let's see if that helps a little bit. Now, the other game, Washington and Washington State. Washington State is playing at home. This is the big rivalry that has been moved apparently because of the schedule and all of them going to the Big Ten and all this other stuff. So it's being played early this year. Okay? So I'm taking Washington minus the 5.5. They're playing at home. Last but not least, I'm taking the Razorbacks. They are a 22.5-point favorite. Now, I'm going to tell you like this. You all heard me talking about the Razorbacks, right? I'm not sold on them. I'm just going to be real with you. I'm not sold on them. I'm just letting you know. But right now, if they are going to try and contend, they've got a gauntlet of a schedule. They've got to beat UAB. And they've got to beat them convincingly. Oh, their fans are going to abandon them. I'm telling you, I know Razorback fans. They are terrible. So, I may not ever do this again for the rest of the year, but I'm taking Arkansas minus the 22.5. All right? Those are my college picks. We'll be back and talk a little ball here in just a moment. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave on JohnNetRadio.com.
Hey, beautiful. You look gorgeous. Are you doing something different? There's a healthy glow about you.
Thanks. I'm just my natural self.
Come on, what's your secret?
Okay, since I found SkinTentional.com, I've been getting a lot of those comments.
SkinTentional.com?
Yes, SkinTentional.com is handcrafted, luxurious natural baths and body care products. Crafted for those with a designer's taste for high-quality skincare products but won't break your bank. From body butter to oils and soaps, SkinTentional has something for everyone, including the man in your life. Get your man some beard balm and oils. And yes, they offer body butters and soap for him as well, without making him smell like flowers. Go to SkinTentional.com and check out their amazing products. They believe self-care should be an intentional and joyous experience for all. SkinTentional.com.
Business owner, can I talk to you for a moment? How many people have come up to you and said, hey, I didn't know you had a business? Yeah, that can happen when you don't advertise. I have a solution for you. Advertise on JohnNetRadio.com and let the world know that you're in business. I know what you're thinking. Advertising is so expensive. I've got a great package for you that will cut your expense and increase your bottom line. It's only $125 for startup and new businesses. Call me, David W. Coleman, at 615-554-0568, and I'll put together a package specifically for your business. Now is the time to tell the world, hey, I'm in business. Come spend your money on quality goods in my store. Let us help you at JohnNetRadio.com. Here's the number. Call me, 615-554-0568. We are here to assist you in building your brand.
Coleman's Dynamic Products would like to thank you for all the support you've given us over the years. Our growth could not have happened without your purchases and word of mouth to your friends and family. That says you believe and trust us to provide Coleman's Dynamic Products with no fillers and all natural ingredients. We began with our flagship product, Rib Rub, and now it has expanded into snacks, seasonings, salts, rib juice, and pepper juice. We could not have done it without you. I'm David W. Coleman, founder and president, and I want to personally thank you for the encouraging words and support. Coleman's Dynamic Products will continue to be the best dry marinades, seasonings, and sauces you've ever put in your mouth. That's ribrub.com, RIBBRUBB, and you know what we like to say, bake it, grill it, smoke it. Oh, yeah. Welcome back to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave on JohnNetRadio.com. We're here every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. right here on JohnNetRadio.com. Don't forget to hit us, like, share, and subscribe on Facebook, Instagram. We're probably going to restart our Twitter account. I think we are. We're also going to do I think we're going to finally get on TikTok, too. I don't want to, but I think I am. But I know at least the ribrub.com is going to get on there. Anyway, so check that out. Don't forget about the sale that is going on for Coleman's Dynamic Products. Get you a gift box, any flavor, for only $29.95. Look, it's been discounted for almost $20. And by the way, I'm paying half of the shipping. Okay, so you're getting it you're getting like $25. Okay, so check it out. You can get the links only online. This is a direct sale to you, the people who are listening to the show. If you go to YouTube, they're there. They'll be on after this show. All you got to do is click on more and then click a link of what you want. Or you can go to Facebook, click on more, click the link of what you want. It's just that simple. Cash out. It comes directly to my office, and I'll get you a gift box out, and I guarantee you'll be thrilled to death. And by the way, great Christmas gift. Yeah, I'm already saying it. Great Christmas gift. Okay. So, all right, so let's talk NFL. We'll be talking NFL for the rest of the show. And a couple of things I want to do some house cleaning real fast with the NFL. And as you look over the league, and we didn't get a chance to talk about this last week, but I wanted to make sure that you understood what my beliefs are as far as who's going to win what for the year. So I'm just going to pick every division. I may expound on them one way or the other, but I'm going to pick every division. And right now, let's start with the AFC East. And right now, you got to pick Buffalo. Is Buffalo for real? I think now that they've stopped trying to let Josh Allen run the team and throw the ball over and over again, because when he throws the ball, he turns the ball over. Look, I think in the game Thursday night, they had 26 rushes and 20 passes, somewhere in there. That's what you've got to do. Look, at the end of the day, folks, football doesn't change. Those teams that can run the football are more likely to win than those who can pass the football. I knew coaches back in the day who said they didn't like to pass because there are more things that can happen negatively when you throw the ball than it can when you run the ball. So they wouldn't pass. They were thinking interception, incomplete pass, sack. Okay? So Buffalo's running the football, and that's good for Buffalo. When you look at what their division right now, Tua's gone, so you can't say mine. I initially wanted to choose Miami, and this was even before, I just wasn't sold on Miami based on what they did last year. Okay, couldn't beat a good team, and then Christian Wilkins, their defensive tackle, is now playing for the Raiders, which I get to see Sunday. So I'm picking Buffalo to win the AFC East. The AFC North. Pittsburgh is an interesting team, but you can't say Cleveland. Cleveland is a dumpster fire right now. So is Cincinnati. Buffalo is Buffalo. You can't take anything away from Lamar. He's a bad boy. Okay? Which I'm going to get to see Sunday because my Raiders come to town. So I'll be seat 111. Section 111, seat 9, somewhere in there. Y'all look for it. I'll be waving. I'm going to have my Raider shit. Stuffed. I'm going to be down for the team. Get harassed by Ravens fans, but it ought to be fun. And look, I've been to Ravens Stadium before, and it had a great time. I went to the Texans playoff game, Ravens-Texans playoff game last. Colder than I've ever been in my life. But I enjoyed the game. Ravens fans are fantastic. But I was cheering for the Ravens that day. But I'm cheering for the Raiders Sunday. Okay? With my luck, I'm sitting smack dab in the middle of nothing but Ravens fans. That ought to be interesting. Okay. So, but at the end of the day, Pittsburgh is going to be in this thing, I think. If they just get some quarterback play, they've got a great defense. Defense travels. So I'm going to say the Ravens, then Pittsburgh. The Ravens will probably win this. They should win this, barring no injuries. The Ravens should win this division by 2 games. All right? The AFC South. Right now, I'm not sold on Indianapolis. New quarterback. Boy, he threw a hell of a pass last week, though, man. I'm going to tell you. But I can't be believing that. I can't. No, I can't believe that Indianapolis is ready to win their division. Okay, the Texans, they've loaded up over the break. I've got to lean for the Texans. Now, who's going to come in second? I don't know. I'm not sold on Jacksonville. They start off 8-3 last year and then go in the tank late. Don't know what. Look, the Titans, Will Levis. I didn't think Will Levis was a good pick when they picked him, and you're finding out that he's not a good pick. Look, at the end of the day, we're going to find out a lot about Will Levis this weekend. A lot about Will Levis this weekend. So right now, I've got to stick with the Texans. That's who I'm picking there. All right. In the West, there's no argument. I know y'all love it on some Harbaugh, yada, yada, yada. Kansas City, by far, is head and shoulders above the entire league right now. I'm not a KC fan. But my God, do I need to say more? Who's going to come in second in that division? I don't know. It's probably not going to be the Raiders, and right now, I'm thinking tank. But that's my personal opinion, you know. All right, so in the NFC East, I've got the Eagles. Saquon Barkley, looks like a beast. Cowboys, it's going to come down to the Cowboys and the Eagles. The Giants and the Commanders, you're not even in the conversation. You're not even in conversation. It's going to come down. Look, right now, who's going to play better defense? Right now, Philadelphia can line up and run down your throat. What was Dallas's problem last year? Getting ran down their throat. Okay? So, right now, now look, we knew in the offseason that there was some issues between head coach and quarterback in Philadelphia. Has that been resolved? We don't know yet. There's a long season. It's 18 weeks. Things happen. Feelings get hurt. That's apparently what happened to Philadelphia last year when they choked on the big one late in the season. Will that happen again this year? Can they redeem themselves? I think they can. You get the addition of Saquon Barkley. Man, Philadelphia is scary. I got to pick the Eagles to win the NFC East. But Dallas is going to be in the hunt. Okay? For you Dallas fans who think I hate Dallas, I don't hate. Look, I'll try to be as impartial as possible. It's you Dallas fans who don't have a clue. Y'all have already started acting up. They win one game and y'all already started acting a damn fool. Shut up. Okay. In the NFC North, right now, I got to say Detroit. Green Bay has lost their quarterback. Minnesota, I don't know what's going to happen to them. They're on there. They wanted J.J. McCarthy, but, he's out. And even if he was playing, they weren't going to challenge in that particular division. I think, Caleb Williams, I think he's going to get better. Game 1, he was terrible. But again, he's a rookie. They put too much pressure on these guys coming in. Look, at the end of the day, they look great in college. But, a lot of times those guys in college, they're head and shoulders above their competition. When they get into the league, you got defensive linemen running 4.5s. It's just different. I think he's going to be okay, but I can't say that they're going to win the North. I got to give that to Detroit. The NFC South, I know a lot of people are banking on Atlanta, but, game 1, Kirk Cousins didn't look like he needed to be. Some believe that Achilles is not healed. He didn't get under center one time. People believe that he's basically immobile. I think the Saints are going to win this. Now, I know what you're saying, what Tampa Bay did last year, but I think that's a fluke. If they do, that's fine. But I think it's believed between the Saints and Tampa Bay. I got to lean on, I'm saying the Saints. I'm saying the Saints. The NFC West. There's no argument. Seattle is going to put up a scuffle, but at the end of the day, if everybody stays healthy, that team has come back. Brandon Ayuk, the left tackle, everybody's back in the fold. It's San Francisco. San Francisco might win that division by 2 games as well. Okay? So, in the NFC Championship game, I'm going to say San Francisco and Philadelphia. No, I'm not. I'm going to say Detroit and Philadelphia. Okay? In the AFC Championship game, I'm going to say the Chiefs and the Ravens all over again. Who's going to win it? Super Bowl, it'll be the Chiefs and the Lions, and the Chiefs will win it. They will three-peat. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. 855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with me. If you want to join the show, I know what you're saying. Dave, how can you just leave out the 49ers? Without a bonehead play, the Lions beat the 49ers last year. And I know nobody wants to give Brock Purdy any credit. The young man is doing a damn good job. But it just seems like these Lions are destined, man. It seems like they on the come. Dan Campbell got these boys playing. And right now, I'm saying they beat Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game. That'll be a heck of a ball game. That will be a heck of a ball game. So let's see what happens. It ought to be fun. Y'all know I like fun. I'm just kind of, I'm going over these. Now, let me just make some other quick observations. And I'm sorry, my sinuses are really draining for some reason all of a sudden. But as you all know, I almost said it again, I'm an Oakland Raider fan. So that goes to show you just how old of a fan I am. It's been a long time since the Raiders won anything. I heard a talk show today where they said, name a play that was the most hurting for you as a fan. It's obvious if you're a Raider fan. The Tuck Bowl. Tom Brady sacked. Raiders recovered. And they claimed that the Raiders did not recover because his arm was going forward. And you know what? They created a rule for Tom Brady that has never been used again. So I'm a Raiders fan, bro. That has happened to the Raiders twice. This was before instant replay. It was the AFC Championship game. The Raiders and the Denver Broncos. Craig Morton was the quarterback for the Broncos. Rob Lytle was the running back. One of the few white boys who had played running back during that time period. He gets the handoff. The Broncos, if they score a touchdown, they win the game. It's over. Rob Lytle gets the handoff, goes up the middle. He's hit by Otis Sistrunk. He fumbles the ball. Otis Sistrunk recovers. They said he didn't fumble. Unfortunately, then there was no instant replay. But they could go back and look at it. And when you look at the play, Rob Lytle clearly fumbles. Okay? Just saying. Anyway, got to take our last break. When we come back, we'll do the NFL picks. Hey, appreciate you joining me. I'm enjoying this tremendously. Remember, we're here every Saturday, 8 to 10 a.m. right here on JoyNetRadio.com. We're also on YouTube and Facebook. You can follow us anywhere you go. Tell a friend, like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget about the sale. Back in a moment, it's called Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave on JoyNetRadio.com.
Hi, I'm David W. Coleman, host of Black Focus Radio and the Weekly Sports Magazine. We here at JoyNetRadio.com would like to thank you for all the love and support you've given us. Our goal is to keep you inspired and informed daily with quality programming from gospel music, news, talk, and sports. Log on to JoyNetRadio.com for the program lineup, and while there, be sure to make a donation. Then download our app and carry us anywhere in the world. Please continue to spread the word about JoyNetRadio.com. And if you are an entrepreneur or have an upcoming event or you'd like to start a show, let the professional writers and producers here at JoyNetRadio.com help you get the word out. Call me at 615-554-0568 for more details. In the meantime, stay informed and inspired daily right here on JoyNetRadio.com.
David W. Coleman here for Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub and Rib Nuts. Go to ribrub.com, that's RIBBRUBB.com right now, and stock up on the best dry marinades for baking, grilling, and smoking your favorite meats. 3 great flavors, hot and spicy, original, and ScorchN. Try them at your next cookout and you will shout, bake it, grill it, shake it, oh yeah! Only one place to get Coleman's Dynamic products, that's ribrub.com. Easy to order, and I'll ship direct to you or to friends and family anywhere in the United States. While on the site, be sure to check out other great items, especially the rib nuts. Who'da thunk it? Peanuts sauteed in a barbecue marinade? That's just crazy good. Get them at ribrub.com right now, along with other great recipes. That's ribrub.com. If you don't like my rib rub or rib nuts, I'll give your money back. Do it today. That's Coleman's Dynamic Products at ribrub.com.
Listen.
Did you miss Dr. Ernest Gill from UT San Antonio?
When you're making $455 million off these student athletes, and all you can come up with is $5,000. John Calipari makes $8 million a year, and his players are going to get $5,000 a year. The majority of these teams were white men and white males and females. Would this be happening? And I would say no, because their families wouldn't let it happen. But we're letting our kids get pimped.
Join the Weekly Sports Magazine every Saturday, 8 to 10 a.m. on JohnEdRadio.com.
All right, welcome back to the show. Last segment, we do this every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Got a big sale going on for Coleman's Dynamic Products. Make sure you go out to the IG, Facebook page, or YouTube. Click on the More link and pick what you want. You can get your favorite flavor of Coleman's Dynamic Products with all of my products. It is a great gift item coming up for the holiday season, but don't wait then because you might get caught up in the rush. Order now, put the box up, and well, you're not going to do that because, see, once you taste the rib nuts, well, here's what you do. Order 2. That way you can order 2, get the box put up, and then send one to someone else. Okay? How about them apples? All right, so got a lot of stuff to talk about today. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So let's go ahead and get this started. Last segment, we talked about the NFL. We gave the college picks. Let's go ahead and get the pro picks. Okay. Week two. All right, so let's start off with the Cowboys and the Saints. And I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. This game scares me because I think the Saints could potentially upset the Cowboys, but Dak got the new contract. They ought to be in good shape. They're playing at home. I am actually taking the Cowboys minus the 6. All right. I'm also looking at the Cleveland Browns traveling to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. The Jaguars have to right the ship. Cleveland Browns they are a dumpster fire with chicken and fish grease and tires burning. This thing with Deshaun Watson has just gotten completely out of hand. This guy it's going to go down in history as the worst contract in sports history, and it's all guaranteed. And he may not end up playing another down for them, considering the fact that he just got hit with another civil lawsuit, of him being inappropriate with masseuses. Now, here's what I don't understand about NFL players who get caught up in that kind of crap. Dude, you're an NFL player. You can basically, don't get me wrong, don't take this the wrong way, but this is reality. You can buy any woman you need. Any woman you need. What's wrong with you? I don't get it. What's wrong with you? Anyway, to make a long story short, Jaguars by 3. Deshaun Watson looked terrible last week. Will he play better this week? It depends. Cleveland has a great defense that might be able to keep them in it, but I'm not right now until the Cleveland Browns show me otherwise. I can't pick for them. I'm picking the Jaguars minus 3. The game I'm going to on Sunday, tomorrow. Going to get down there early. I want to make sure that I take in all of the ambiance of the game and watching my Raiders and so on and so forth. Okay? And right now, the Raiders have no offense. They have 2 great wide receivers. They got a great receiving core. They've got a pretty darn good defense, but they don't have anyone that can get the ball to them. I'm not sold on Gardner Minshew. I've never been sold on Gardner Minshew. That's why he's been a journeyman all his life. And then you've got the backup of Aiden O'Connell. It says a lot about Aiden O'Connell that Gardner Minshew can come in and win the starting job over you. So right now, the Raiders have no quarterback right now. The Ravens are on a revenge tour. And right now, they are smarting because they didn't play well against Kansas City. They've been off for 10 days. They're opening at home. They are going to want blood. And unfortunately, that blood is going to be from my beloved Raiders. They are an 8.5-point favorite. What does that tell you? That's a big line that usually don't go that big. I'm taking the Ravens and the 8.5. Okay? Next up, we've got the Chiefs. I know everybody is glowing over the Chiefs, and I usually don't do this myself, but what I saw of them of week 1 and what they have, the Bengals are struggling. They go to the Chiefs. I know everybody wanted to say Joe Burrow is the only one that beat Patrick Mahomes. No, Joe Burrow did not beat Patrick Mahomes. I don't recall Joe Burrow making one tackle. But y'all like to say that in the media. Okay? But he had some good games. The question is, Joe Burrow has been flexing his wrist. His comments in the media was saying, "Oh, well, I'm just keeping it loose." Well, if you're having to keep it loose, that means it's still bothering you. So that's something to watch throughout the year. Since Cincinnati has been struggling, the main receiver is out. Who knows about this team? Kansas City is on a mission. They are favored by 3, and I know Kansas City, they're sick of hearing this stuff about Joe Burrow beat Patrick Mahomes. I think Kansas City lights their asses up. I'm taking Kansas City minus the 6.5. Colts and Packers. Colts and Packers. That's an interesting game. Jordan Love is out. Packers are they're going to have their daubers down. Colts are on a high right now. They are 0-1. Both teams are 0-1. This game is, a 2.5-point favorite. They're on the road. I'm going to take the Colts and Richardson. Just for the heck of it. I think Green Bay is going to have to find their way. And I don't think they're going to be able to. I think they're still. Look, they haven't gotten over the loss of Jordan Love yet. So I'm taking the Colts. Last but not least, the Eagles versus the Falcons. I'm not sold on the Falcons. I mentioned earlier about Kirk Cousins and his Achilles return. That's a tough injury to come back from. Many people suggest that he's not ready. I'm going to take the Eagles. Okay? So, let me recap the picks and we'll get out of here. Jaguars -3, Ravens -8.5, Cowboys -6, Chiefs -6, Colts -2.5, Eagles -6.5, South Carolina +5.5, Wisconsin +16.5, Mississippi -21, Colorado State +7.5, Washington -5.5, and Arkansas -22.5. Don't forget about the special that's going on for Coleman's Dynamic Products. Hey, you want to hit me up? Hit me up at the Weekly Sports Magazine. Got questions about the product? Give me a call at 615-554-0568. That's the Weekly Sports Magazine. We are here every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. And don't forget, you can win a Coleman's Dynamic Gift Box if you beat me with my picks. They'll be posted here real soon. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week. See you.
Thanks for listening to the Weekly Sports Page with Dynamic David Coleman.
On Dice Right, ice cream, alert, 654 Jose. Okay, 1-0.
Tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 10.
Brown Richmond, 96 double. 96 double. Check, what a player.
Until next week.